All right. Esteemed council members, thank you for taking the time to hear me today. My name is Francis Stalker. I'm a Haven, Toronto ambassador and member and liaison with the Toronto Underhousing and Homeless Union, and someone who's lived through the harsh and invisible reality of homelessness. It isn't just about a lack of a roof over your head. It's about fear, loneliness, and trying to hold on to your humanity while the world seems to look through you as people pass you by. The need for more shelter is obvious. Mental health struggles and addiction are everywhere. Feeling safe and peace of mind is almost impossible to find. I felt all that. I've slept in freezing weather, wrapped in 4 sleeping bags and a tarp, hoping to make it through the night. In one of those moments, when I felt I had nothing left, Ryan Donay, the founder of Tiny Tiny Homes, found me, saw me, and brought me to a place where I could get warm, a tiny, tiny home in St. James Park. It wasn't much by most standards, but for me, it was everything. It was shelter, it was safety. It was the first place in a long time where I could lock the door, close my eyes without fear of being attacked by somebody trying to take my stuff. So there's a saying that, in my opinion, represents what it is to be a true Canadian. It's defend the weak, protect the innocent, and fight for those who cannot fight for themselves. Ryan's personification of these ideals. He didn't just talk about change, he acted. And I believe we all have that power. I believe in community. I believe that when people come together with compassion, incredible things can happen. There's another idiom that comes to mind. It takes a village to raise a child. But I learned it also takes a community to lift someone out of despair. After 2 years homeless, I credit the 3.5 months I spent in that tiny, tiny home as what saved me, but what allowed me to save myself. I'm here as living proof that tiny, tiny homes work. They're not a perfect solution, but they're a real tangible step forward. A stepping stone between crisis and stability, a place where someone can begin to heal. Real change doesn't come from policy. It comes from people. People who choose to care, to show up, to work together and build something better together. Many of us here, you see in this room today, we've already made that choice. We're doing the work and we're inviting others to do the same. Let's walk forward together. Tiny, tiny homes work. They save lives. I am one of them. We are Canadian. We believe in paying it forward. The question is, will you stand with us? Will you walk with us and help carry this dream forward? Let's solve this problem together. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for sharing your experience and for being here. Oh.
Tiny, tiny homes getting in the way.
Ryan Donay, followed by B. Marie, and then Talia Pankiewicz. Welcome to committee. You have 3 minutes.
Thank you. Good day, Toronto City Councillors. Thank you for having me here. My name is Ryan Donay. I'm the founder of the nonprofit Tiny Tiny Homes. I would like to thank God for the direction my life was taken, but it was not always this way. As someone who previously struggled with addiction and homelessness, I know the shortcomings of the Toronto shelter system. Inside some of these shelters, it's not something you would expect to see in Canada, but that's if you can see the inside at all, because the shelter system is always full. I would also like to bring to everyone's attention that since the pandemic, this is the 5th winter that people were outside in tents in mass numbers. This is not acceptable. This is where micro shelters can fill the gap and rapidly add beds to the system. Micro shelters can address the issue of people who refuse to go to the shelter system due to the conditions. Each person that resided in tiny, tiny homes were people that refused to subject themselves to the condition of the shelter system. These units provided a life-saving space in the wintertime. Something that really touched my heart during the cold snap last winter was in each tiny home, residents had a friend warming up with them inside. Each of these units provided the resident with dignity and a safe place that they needed to start working on their life. I would also like to share one of the stories of one of the residents in our program. Brent Blake was one of the nicest, kind-hearted citizens of Toronto you would ever meet. The system definitely failed Brent Blake because when we met him, he was sleeping in a doorway of a shop on Queen Street. Brent Blake was terminal with cancer, and he just wanted a place to be inside for the last months of his life. We were able to give Brent a unit before the big storm hit in February. His only complaint of being outside in the cold was the air hurt the cancer in his throat. I'm very honored that we were able to provide him with a safe space. Brent wrote poetry, listened to Jimi Hendrix, loved a large Timmy's coffee with a smoke. Brent Blake was my friend. Now some stats to share from you from the pilot project Tiny Tiny Homes conducted. 7 people were sheltered during this pilot. 4 were transitioned to permanent housing. The units were kept very clean with little input. Countless others were connected to support through our outreach, and the cost for each one of these units to the city was 0. During the pilot, an email address was placed on the outside of the units, so we were sure to receive community feedback. We received only 2 complaints during the entire duration of the pilot. Everyone I spoke to in the community massively supported it. Police, firefighters, first responders, streets to homes workers, city workers, nurses, every public sector employee I spoke to was in favor. Micro shelters can help address some of the challenges with the homeless crisis. I want to finish off by saying I think everyone should live in houses and not apartments. But until the supply of affordable housing is increased and housing is in reach of everyone who needs it, not just who can afford it, I think micro shelters are a viable option. Thank you very much for taking the time to hear me speak today.
Thank you very much for your deputation. The next speaker is B. Marie, online. Welcome to committee.